Taming the Demon by Ami Levskira. Chapter 21. To the True Demon Devil Bats. Game day dawned bright and clear. Hiruma could see both Ice Shield and Demon stirring in Sena's eyes, but they seemed content to stay beneath the surface for now. Until, Rikyu scored a kickoff return touchdown! Then Demon surged to the surface to take one back. Hiruma figured he would. This match was personal for all parts of the Sena trio. Hiruma also figured it must have felt pretty damn good when Demon stopped Rikyu dead in his tracks the following play. Of course, this was where the other key part of Seibu's offense came into play. Cheers of "Quick draw kid! Quick draw kid!" rose from the stands as the gunmen set up their beloved shotgun formation. The blonde noted that the Seibu quarterback was a lot like Shin in that both of them refused to take his bait. Disappointing. Not that it mattered. The Devil of Damon fully intended to blitz his opponent anyway. Of course, Xian managed to annoy said devil again when he took his already incredible 0.2 second throw, sped it up even further, and still completed the pass, and then had the balls to call it a fluke. Hiruma hated that guy sometimes. Ever one for psychological warfare, the blonde wasted no time telling off the gunman for essentially flushing every strategy the Devil Bats had down the drain. While he seemed initially startled by said strategies poofing out of thin air. Where was he holding those? Wouldn't you like to know, Sena? Xian countered by claiming that everything about Hiruma Yoichi, the weapons, cards, hair, etc., was all intended to terrify an opponent and put the blonde at a psychological advantage. The cowboy even claimed to have figured out the method to your mind games. Hiruma really hated that guy sometimes. The guy was partially right, though. Nothing to be done about that. The only thing the blonde could do now was prove that just because one had an idea how Hiruma Yoichi played mind games did not mean one could beat Hiruma Yoichi at those mind games. Besides, thinking he had one-upped the Damon captain might lull the cowboy into a false sense of security. However, the blonde knew all too well that a good quarterback was useless without a receiver, and while the heart bump worked well on every other player, it seemed the monkey was going to have some trouble with Seibu's iron horse. They lost a touchdown, but the cunning quarterback wasn't entirely worried about that, though. Just as Demon was first and foremost an offensive team, Manta was first and foremost a receiver. And he proved it too, earning the Devil Bats another first down. The next attack was lost because Seibu's actual team captain, some third year on the line, thought he was the shit by mixing in some brawling moves, taking brother Fish Lips by surprise. That was swiftly put an end to, with the brothers displaying some brawling moves of their own and shutting down the third year, allowing Sena to break through. Unfortunately, Rikyu not only stopped him, but took the ball back and then lectured the demon running back. Who does this brat think he is? Did he actually just say that Sena was pathetic? While Hiruma had to admit the short blonde was right in his vice, the strategist knew why the brunette player reacted the way he did. The last person to run at him with such speed was Shin Seijuro, and one does not simply forget how much the spear tackle hurts. Things went downhill from there. As Seibu scored 2 more touchdowns, it became evident that there was nothing Manta could do to stop the human train that was Tetsuma. But even worse, Hiruma himself had to concede defeat to Xian as a quarterback. It wasn't even halftime, and there was a 20-point difference. It appeared that Damon had lost this battle. As if to rub salt in the wound, for some reason the moron Sasaki Kotaru stole the microphone from the announcers and started screaming for Musashi to get his ass out on the field and help his team. Almost like they were reinforcing his point, Seibu scored a field goal. The fat ass started crying. Last second of the first half and 45 yards to the goal line. If Hiruma actually believes in luck or fate, he'd think that both were mocking him. This was exactly the kick that Musashi was about to do before his dad collapsed a year and a half ago. But the team didn't break down just yet. Sena stood up from where he had just been gang-tackled and reminded his team that if there was absolutely zero chance of victory, the captain would walk off the field, pack up, and go home. As long as Hiruma was still here, then Sena at least would keep playing like they were going to win. The blonde heard a truck drive up, the door slam, turned to see who, and couldn't fucking believe it! Their savior had come. He was 13,297 hours and 49 minutes late. But he had come. Once the fatty stopped crying again, they set up the line and let Musashi do what he did best. The look of utter shock and disbelief on Shien's face as the ball sailed over the goalposts was nothing short of brilliant. Hiruma could vaguely hear Sasaki freaking out fanboyishly in the stands. Kurita was so happy he hugged the front of Musashi's truck, crushing it to pieces, and the blonde briefly entertained the notion that he did it on purpose so that Musashi couldn't change his mind. The strategist sat down on the bench, mentally flipping through his now numerous options, taking no notice of the shenanigans going on around him. They had a kicker again. He could feel his lips stretch into his usual terrifying grin. Not just a kicker, they had Musashi again. He stood back up and walked over to his team. It was time to counterattack.